Well, California, speaking of California, it's got bigger problems than Miss California, and that is that state is drowning in a sea of red. And you could likely pay for it, no matter where you live. The feds are threatening to pull stimulus dollars from the Golden State if California cuts union worker wages. Now, this threat comes straight from the White House. But does President Obama have any business telling California how it can or cannot fix its $20 billion budget deficit? U.S. Congressman Darrell Issa is a Republican from California. He's my guest now. Congressman, good morning to you.
Good morning, Megan. And it is outrageous to have the most unionized state make a deal that continues to bloat California's budget with the union's endorsement, and then because one union didn't quite get enough, they go to the White House for more.
The SEIU, which is a very powerful union, one of the largest in the country, very, very generous to President Obama when he was running for office. They have gone to him and complained, saying we don't like the proposed budget fix, we don't want our wages compromised. And President Obama listened and came back to your state and said, we are yanking our $6 billion in stimulus money if you don't protect those union wages. Does he have the right to do that, Congressman?
Well, when you're a party that's bought and paid for by the unions, yes, you do. And this administration has shown from day one, with giving 55% in complete violation of bankruptcy law and contract law to the unions, yes, they will, yes, they can, yes, they will deliver America to the unions, and they're doing it every day.
You know, this group, the SEIU, was among the biggest donors to President Obama during the campaign. They gave him $33 million. In addition to tons of money, millions and millions of dollars they've given to other Democratic causes. Nonetheless, the Democrats in your state came together with you, the Republicans, and said, look, we love the unions too, but we're in a crisis. Something's got to give. And so you had a bipartisan agreement to cut union wages, among many other things, and now the White House is interfering. Are they going to win? I mean, I can't see your state thumbing its nose at $6 billion in stimulus money. You got to have it, don't you?
I don't have any question that they will find a way, but before you call it a Democrat-Republican come together, they found 3 Republicans they could flip, retiring Republicans that they could make promises to, and a governor who's always been willing to make the final deal. So after 106 days, what they really did was they got an all-Democratic solution that is double-digit increases at a time when everyone else is dealing with a recession. California has increased its spending, and this group didn't quite get enough. And remember, unionization has been going toward those who do not have to compete in the public sector. This is a good, or the private sector. This is a good example of a union who sees its growth in government.
You know, every Californian we've had on this air, has talked about the cutbacks in this state. So many of your constituents have been affected. The most notable one was how the state wasn't paying people their tax refunds, their money, because it needed the dough in its coffers to pay its bills. And when they finally did start to shell it out months after it was due, they didn't pay any interest on it. So Californians have already taken an individual hit. Yet the union, which now would take a pay decrease from $12.10 per hour to $10.10 per hour, is causing such a stink over this, and they have such power at the highest levels of government in this country. They're not going to be the ones to sacrifice anything, are they, Congressman?
Not at all. And this is the one thing that everyone has to understand is the private sector takes all the cuts, all the pain, all the bankruptcy, and all the layoffs. Well, government here in Washington is growing, and government in Sacramento is growing. And it is, in fact, in Sacramento, the most amazing thing that they are bought and paid for by the unions, but they didn't quite get enough to one union. And now what they want is to get just that union made whole. They don't want to make the kind of cuts that the private sector has to make every day. And Kelly, this is the problem in Sacramento. It is the problem here in Washington, is the unions have taken control because public sector money is highly unionized, and it's benefiting this administration. Here in the Rotunda, absolutely it's benefiting up at the White House.
Well, I know that the union says they considered this cut an active violation of the terms under which the stimulus money was granted. That's why they think they have a leg to stand on. But it's very unusual to see union reps participating at this level.
Kelly, who wrote the stimulus? Who wrote the stimulus? Megan, I'm sorry. Megan, who wrote the stimulus? The stimulus was written here in the dark of night by the unions. Of course, the stimulus has provisions that unions like. They wrote those packages. And so, Megan, the fact is, you have a self-fulfilling prophecy, which is in Sacramento, they wrote these things. In Washington, they wrote these things. So lo and behold, they're now complaining about the very provisions that they made sure were there.
Got it. Congressman Darrell Issa, thanks so
much
for coming out.